This is that melamine or whatever board. I got some of that. I'm gonna return that. That was just a basic Home Depot one. The label is down here. So whatever they call it. But it's got that strong finish. So I wasn't exactly sure how the sizes were gonna break up on that, so I got a lot. Set up these big long sawhorses. I'm not making any more cuts, but you know, have my measuring set up here. And the other big job was all the stair risers. So they're a mess. I literally cut them and I glued them with the Loctite PL adhesive. I think I just threw that tube out, but I've had a few. So you know, the premium, you know, I was using PL3X, I was using PL8X, but I couldn't get 8X in the big tube, so I changed over to 3X. It's gonna be plenty strong. So the first two I did, I used a crown staple to hold them in, and then I felt them and they were just super solid. So on all these, I didn't use any nails or staples or anything. They're all just cut to place, backside cleaned up. I did a pattern like this, and then glued. So there's a lot of those, 18 of them. But they look good. They're gonna be super durable. You see, the first few I did with staples, I gotta go through and really paint over those. Hello. To get them really, really nice, but it's pretty close. I also ran this chalk line because the next big thing I gotta do is put on this handrail. I'm not gonna put it over here because I wanna keep this side open, potentially for a chair lift. I don't need this fan anymore. You know, for my wife's parents, if they are getting a little tired, they'll be able to come in, sit a chair down, boom, and head straight up. So this side will have the handrail, and this side, maybe in 10 years, we'll have a lift or something. But these turned out sweet. I did a two-piece for the corners, for the bullnose. Same as upstairs. So stuff's looking good. All right, next day, continuing on the stairs. Got all the risers glued up, looking good. So what I've done, starting at the bottom, is I started to use the Alex Painter's caulk to really seal all the seams to get them to look, you know, more like built in. So each of these has a small little bead of caulk and then some cleanup. It needs a little more cleanup, but even though I cut these as tight as I could, you know, you still see occasional little gaps. I mean, that wood's pretty tight for no molding. It's there, but you know, compare this to this to this. So I'm really doing that with the caulk. So just going through each step, it's really slow to do that detailed work, and it can make a little bit of a mess, so I keep watching my stuff. And I got my supervisor, but by the time I get done, you know, it'll be pretty much a finished staircase, all sealed up and looking super nice. And then I got the handrail got pushed back one day. A plumber is gonna, same plumber I use, is gonna pick up a 21-foot 1-inch black iron pipe. That's pretty hard to move. So we made a deal. He offered to bring it up here because he's got a job around the corner, but he had to reschedule that job for tomorrow rather than today. So when I get that, you know, I'll work on attaching that here. It'll be quite the showcase of a staircase in a couple days. All right, got the stairs all caulked and sealed in and cleaned up. And that's the result right now. Still got to do the handrail, still got to do quite a bit, but check those babies out. Tops are a little dirty, but all sealed in and looking clean. So got a lot of molding and little finish work to do, but That's done. Handrail. I'm actually still waiting on the 21-foot length pipe. So, to be continued. All right, so about that handrail. So I was gonna do it with these 4-foot pieces, but I realized to catch the studs with the odd distances I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna reuse this hardware and I'm gonna not use any of these 4-foot pipes. I'm gonna use this 21-footer right here, which will obviously make it the whole length. I can cut it anywhere, and this is just gonna be the much better way to go. But this is a $85 pipe. Which is actually still gonna be a better deal than the small ones, but I had a plumber friend haul it on his big rack truck, his plumbing truck. So, to be continued. All right, real quick. I've landed each of these on studs. I brought the pipe up. I marked my first one. I'm gonna get it down there, out the door, all the way around, cut it and thread the first a little over 4-foot section, almost 5 feet. So see how that goes. All right, so I got my first section here. 74.5 was my first piece. I just cut it, Sawzall. Make note, pipe edges are sharp. So I'm gonna go just clean that up real quick, put a different glove on. And this is my first time ever doing pipe thread. I've tap and dyed all kinds of crap, but I've got this dark cutting oil and I've got this 1-inch pipe thread dye in that ratcheting handle. So I'm gonna file this up and cut my first piece. All right, so here's my first threaded end. It's a pretty nice tool. I'll take a little bit more time and show using it. I mean, there's a lot of chips everywhere, but I just basically, I cut into that side as far as this side was cut in. Did a quick measurement. So I'm gonna test fit it right now. I'm gonna get all 4 pieces test fit. And I'm gonna pull them all back off the wall, get them all pre-assembled, lay them all out on the sawhorses, and then wash them down in lacquer thinner or similar, and then paint and clear them black. All right, so I didn't take a ton of time to set my camera up, so I'm sure with the little wiggling I'll probably knock it off. But I've got this cut. I'm just gonna put a little oil right here, get it started, a little more than I intended. And then the deal with this dye, it slides on this way. Also, I put the pipe in the stand. I need to actually tighten it up. Hopefully I don't hit the phone already. I mean, there's great videos on already how to do this, so this isn't really a step-by-step on how to cut the pipe, but at least this will give you a little bit of an idea of what the heck I'm doing to get these custom lengths. So I'm pushing pretty hard with my right hand, and I'm just trying to get the die started on the pipe to start cutting threads. Most of the work is actually with my right, just pushing it inward. See, it tends to kind of skip off, so gotta really keep pressure on to start cutting inward. And now, all right, now I'm started for sure. So I'm gonna cut a bit, make it easier by pushing down here. All right, so now I'll speed it up. All right, so another one threaded. Just gonna get the oil wiped off. My paper towel is getting pretty hammered, but I'll get some of the oil right here. Again, those threads get sharp. I'm not bleeding anymore, but it left a little mark. So I'm just doing a real quick brake cleaner cleanup. The brake cleaner is really good at cleaning the oil off. You don't want any oil because after I test fit this, it's getting painted, and paint will not stick to anything with oil. It'll have all sorts of fish eyes and just all kinds of problems. So chain off of there, not lose the pipe with one hand. So there's this last section, a little bit of brake clean still on there. Kind of dump it out in case there's any chips. You know, do the official dry off method there. So now this I'm really not gonna be able to do this with one hand, but basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna pop down probably this corner 90, get it threaded into here. I could probably do it right there. I'm just making sure the length is gonna be good. So that's what I gotta do. Pull those torque screws, thread this in as far as I can, and then make sure I'm still gonna land on the stud. And if that's the case, all these other ones hit, so I'm almost ready to start painting. All right, so that was quick. Everything's on the money. I made sure these holes look hit. Those are all started, and all the pipes are threaded in as much as I can by hand. So I'm going to disassemble this and get it set up for rinse down and some sanding and some prep and get some paint on there. All right, so I just did the sanding and did a thinner. I'm actually using lacquer thinner. Mineral spirits would be maybe a little less aggressive. Rinse of all the parts, so there'll be no residual oil or anything. I knocked these down real aggressively with a 60, and then after the 60, I went over them with a 220. So my plan for these, they could use a primer, but my plan for these, I'm using Rust-Oleum, and I'm going to do a lot of coats of the black Rust-Oleum to act as the filler, rather than doing the primer and sanding. So they'll turn out sweet. I painted a lot of stuff. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to glove up and start shooting. All right, so obviously because they're touching the sawhorse, I'm going to need to do, you know, the top coats, wait a while, roll them, spray, wait a while. I'm going to have to do several. The other thing you could do is hang them at the threads from wire, but it's not that big of a thing for me. I have time. Here's what I'm using. And then I've got the clear as well. I'm really thinking about, I think I've decided, I'm not going to paint those. That color's cool, but it's not protected. I'm going to clear those so it'll be like a black pipe and then the raw metal look on the elbows and the T's. So here we go. Just check out how it lays out here. So I'm gonna start off pretty dry, and then, you know, just get pretty good coverage, and then I'll come and get a little heavier spray on. And I'm gonna go just, you know, into the threads, but I'm not gonna glob a lot on the threads, because that's just gonna make it harder to thread them into the fittings. So no problems with running. It's pretty warm, so I shouldn't really be having any problems with runs. And again, because there's going to be so many coats, I'm going to be pretty light here and just get a lot of material on these. So there's one. I'm not going to video the whole thing. It gives you the top shot of one of them. I'll check back in. All right, so that's all set. About 5 coats of black, about another 5 coats of clear. Just shot the last coat. All these are cleared. I did find, you know what, it was too much trouble having rolling these things over, so I spread them a little bit. I got it sitting on the threads where the finish is not as critical, but I got some good gloss, a couple little imperfections, but overall, I think they're gonna be good. So, it's kind of smelly in here. I'm gonna leave these babies overnight. Time to bail on them. All right, first just laughing. My neighbor's kind of crazy. She's over there weed whacking. That weed whacker has been wide open, literally wide open throttle for 15 minutes. It's kind of funny. Doesn't even remotely let off. So that machine's got a tough life. I'm telling you, all day. Banging off the rev limiter. But what is cool is here's my first piece mounted. I think that the gray color is just sweet. The gray color is cool. And then there's the first section of railing. So, you know, I got to come through and clean off the chalk line and stuff, but it turned out smooth. It's dry now. So I'm going to continue assembling piece by piece with my helper. It'd be cool to assemble the whole thing and then lift it up, but I can't hold up an 18-foot long piece of steel myself. So assembling it piece by piece, working pretty good. All right, here's the completion of the stairs. Railing and all. So everything turned out nice. I mean, I still have a little cleanup to do here and there, but I think the railing looks good. The nice matte finish on the solid oak does not get slippery, so that's really cool. So in making those up, that was a different video, but they took a while. There's some time into this staircase right here, but it did turn out really good. And I just wiped it up quick, but I'm probably leaving dust marks behind me. So in the perfect length, I mean, you're right at the top of the stairs and you can already get a hold of this, and same when you exit at the bottom or if you're going either direction. So, and they match the laminate really well. It's sweet. And that staircase is complete.